My daughter Lily and I were eating dinner when we heard a loud crash outside. It was such a hard impact that it made the windows rattle. "Daddy, what was that?" Lily asked, her eyes wide with fear. "Probably just some kids being loud," I replied, forcing a smile. But then another crash followed by heavy footsteps made us both jump. I looked out the window and saw a dark figure running towards our house in the pouring rain. As a single dad working 2 jobs to make ends meet, I had little time or money for charity. But when I saw that it was just a young woman soaked to the bone, holding a small suitcase and shivering from the cold, my heart went out to her. "Hey," I called out, opening the door wider. "Please come in, you'll catch your death of cold out there," I said, motioning for her to come inside. She looked up at me with surprised eyes, quickly wiping strands of wet hair out of her face. "Oh, thank you so much. That's very kind of you," she stammered, stepping into the house. She was beautiful in a simple white dress that clung to her in all the right places. Her long flowing hair and delicate features were hidden under a thin layer of rain and dirt, but even so, I could tell she was no ordinary girl. "It's no trouble at all. My daughter and I have an extra room, and I don't mind if you stay here for a few days, until you get back on your feet," I offered, hoping I wasn't making a mistake. Lily looked at me with admiration. "That's so nice of you, Dottie." The girl smiled shyly and introduced herself as Amelia. She told me she was between jobs and looking for a fresh start in this city. While she was mostly quiet and seemed a bit withdrawn, she was incredibly polite and respectful, which put my mind at ease. I showed her to the guest room, which wasn't much, but it was clean and comfortable. That night, before we slept, Amelia knocked on my door. "Mr. Williams, may I ask you something?" she asked hesitantly. "Of course, Amelia, what is it?" I replied, sitting up in bed. "Do you mind if I take a shower? I haven't bathed in days and I feel filthy," she said, biting her lip. "Oh, sure. You can use the one in the bathroom down the hall. Just make sure to be quiet, please," I said, feeling a blush creep up my neck. I couldn't help but notice how even in her current state, she had a certain charm about her. The next morning, after a restless night of tossing and turning, I got up early to go to my construction site. As a foreman, my job was demanding and required long hours, 7 days a week. I kissed Lily goodbye and left for work, locking the front door behind me. But just as I reached the site, my boss called me over. "Williams, we have a problem. The owner is walking around back and he wants to see someone about the construction plans immediately," he said, handing me a clipboard. Okay," I replied, trying to appear confident. The truth was, ever since I took over as foreman, I'd been struggling to keep up with paperwork. My job was to lay the foundation for each floor, but I was too tired at night to complete the reports on time. And now, my boss wanted me to present the plans to Mr. Harrison, the company's owner. I panicked, realizing I hadn't finished the blueprints for the 3rd floor. When Mr. Harrison approached, I could feel my face burning with shame. "What's going on here? Is this the best you can do? I want these plans by tomorrow morning or find someone else to replace you," he snapped, gesturing to the incomplete files. As I walked away defeated, I saw the sleek black car Mr. Harrison drove waiting for him. The license plate read H. Sterling, which I assumed stood for Harrison Sterling Construction. But what I didn't know was that those initials belonged to the richest man in the city, and his name was UNT Harrison. It was Henry Sterling. Desperately needing an idea, I decided to visit my sister, Maria. She worked as a secretary in the downtown area and always knew what was going on around town. Maybe she could help me think of a solution. But when I called, she picked up and said, "Sorry, I can't help you right now. I'm about to leave work and head to a party," she said dismissively. "A party? We talked last week. You promised you'd help me with the taxes, I replied angrily. Well, I changed my mind. Besides, you said it was boring paperwork. What's the worst that could happen? She said, hanging up before I could respond. Feeling betrayed, I started walking towards the Sterling Corporation building, having nothing to lose. Maybe if I explained my situation to Mr. Sterling, he would cut me some slack. I thought hopelessly. Just then, a black car pulled up beside me. Excuse me, are you Mr. Williams? A smartly dressed woman asked. Yes, that's me. But how did you know my name? I replied suspiciously. I'm Mr. Sterling's personal assistant. He wants to see you in his office. Please come with me, she said, opening the car door for me. Before I could protest, I found myself whisked away in the luxurious vehicle. The interior was spacious and elegant, lined with soft leather seats and wood paneling. I sat nervously wondering what Mr. Sterling wanted from me. When I arrived, the assistant led me to a large glass-baned office on the 26th floor. Inside, I saw the most powerful man in the city. He had piercing blue eyes and an air of authority about him. But what shocked me was his resemblance to the girl from yesterday. Could it be possible, Amelia? Is that you? I asked in disbelief. She nodded slowly, confirming my suspicions. I never expected to see you again, Mr. Williams. Thank you for taking care of me, she said softly. Why are you here, and why did you lie about your name? I asked, confused. Amelia hesitated, then began to explain. The truth is, I am Mr. Sterling's daughter. I ran away from home because I couldn't take the pressure anymore. All they cared about was my looks and status, not who I was as a person. So I escaped, she confessed, tears welling up in her eyes. I'm sorry, Amelia. I didn't know, I replied, feeling remorseful. It's all right, Mr. Williams. I wanted to tell you, but I was afraid you'd treat me differently. But now that you know, I hope you can forgive me, she pleaded, wiping away a stray tear. Just then, her father spoke up, his voice surprisingly gentle. Amelia, why didn't you tell me you'd met someone who treated you so kindly? I would have rewarded them handsomely. Where is this person? He asked, turning to me. Right here, sir, I said, stepping forward. You want to reward me? Just let me finish the plans and I'll be satisfied, I replied, determined to prove myself. But Mr. Sterling shook his head. No, this is only fair. Tell me how much you earn and I'll double it for the rest of your career here. Plus, I want you to come with us on a vacation to Hawaii. It'll be fun for you and your daughter, he offered warmly. Thank you, sir, but I appreciate the offer, but I can't take a vacation right now. I have bills to pay and responsibilities, I said, declining politely. Nonsense. Your daughter will accompany us. It'll be a wonderful experience for her, Mr. Sterling insisted, not taking no for an answer. At first, I argued against it, but Lily pleaded with me to let her go. So eventually I gave in. When we arrived in Hawaii, I realized I'd underestimated Mr. Sterling. He wasn't just rich, he was incredibly generous. He lavished gifts on everyone around him. Seeing how happy it made them, I couldn't help but feel touched by his kindness. One evening while we were having dinner at a beachside restaurant, I thanked Amelia for helping me connect with her father. I know you did it out of the goodness of your heart, but I wouldn't have received this opportunity without you, I said sincerely. She smiled shyly. It was my pleasure, Mr. Williams. I'm glad you and Lily are enjoying Hawaii, she replied. From that day on, our lives changed dramatically. Lily returned home with new clothes, toys, and souvenirs, while I received a hefty bonus check every month. Most importantly, though, I was no longer bound by the limitations of my old job. Now I could pursue my dreams without worrying about money or responsibilities. And as I watched my daughter laugh and play on the beach, I knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, we would face them together, hand in hand.